Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss whether or not Jason Brauner is finally getting the recognition he deserves. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Kathy Cool and Phil Collin.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everyone.
Hey. Oh, so yeah, we're going to be talking about Brauner today. Is he getting the respect he deserves finally? We'll get to that after the break. And we might even get into who's Jason Brauner. Some people might not know. So we'll get into that. And that would be a good first step to getting him the recognition he deserves, because we'll tell you who he is if you don't know him. But we'll get to that after the break. For right now, Kathy said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, Kathy?
I want to know, what is the best bourbon-related compliment that you would like someone to give you? Like, what is the best bourbon related compliment you could get?
Time with you is never on the rocks? No, I'm sorry. That's probably not what you mean.
That's like a Valentine card.
That's just a pun. Yeah. You're
easy.
I like you neat.
I like you neat.
No. So it's not an outright compliment, but when people that I've known from like my former lives, from like high school or old jobs, who like reach out to me and say, hey, I know you're doing bourbon now. Can you give me a suggestion? I'm hosting a party, or I want to buy my boss or my boyfriend or my girlfriend, whoever, a gift. What would you suggest for me? I think that's the highest compliment, that they ask me, what should I spend my money on? And I love when people reach out to me for suggestions. And I could have not spoken to them for 10 years and they will send me like a random message. I'll be like, okay, yes, tell me what they like, tell me what they don't like. I will have a suggestion for you. I love having those conversations. So when people randomly reach out and ask, hey, what can I buy? I think that's a huge compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, it's the same. When someone says, I'm looking for a new bourbon, or I don't know much about bourbon, or could you point me in the right direction? And I try to listen to what they might be into, and I point them in the right direction. I think is something they'd enjoy. And then when I hear from them later and they say, I love that bottle you introduced me to, I couldn't get enough of it, or I bought another one, I'll take that as a big compliment. On the other hand, when sometimes people say, gee, Phil, you sure know a lot about bourbon, I say, oh, that's kind of my job. That'd be like if you worked in insurance and I said, gee, Willikers, you sure know about insurance. So that always feels like a backhanded compliment when someone's surprised that I know things about bourbon. Like,
right.
What I do all day.
When they ask for a suggestion, I think that's the biggest, like, not a compliment, but the also biggest compliment. I love that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
These days things change a little bit, but these days it's, tied to the shop. When someone comes in and says they had a good time, or, they like the place, they think it's cool, or this is, one of their favorite hangouts, that's stuff that at this point really means a lot to me, because we've created something, and, you create it with, you think you know what people want, and you think you're going to create something that's fun and exciting and be a part of people's lives. And that's the greatest compliment that I can get, that people are enjoying themselves at the shop, and an experience that we've curated, we've created for them in hopes that they like it. And that's the greatest compliment right now, for sure. How about you, Kathy? How about you?
I think I would like to. I'm not in the industry, right? I'm just a talking head kind of person here.
I feel like you're getting very adjacent. Like
you're working your way in. I'll say that.
Working my way in. But if someone recognized that my palate was improving somehow, or that I'm getting better at what I'm tasting and appreciating, that would be a huge compliment to me, because I always feel like I'm the one in the back going, well, it tastes good.
Yeah.
But if I could, participate in
you have
those
a hard time
actively.
accepting compliments. This is part of your persona. If someone said, I heard you on the Bourbon Daily, I like you. I know you well enough. You would be like, I'm not a big deal. I don't do that. Whatever. I'm just. So you have to also be open to accepting these things. When someone tells you that, they're not telling you that because they're being forced to or anything like that. They're telling you that because they believe that. So Kathy,
I love when people recognize me from the Bourbon Daily.
Well, I'm just saying. Wow.
Steve, there's also a guy, John Tyler Smith. He's not always on our social medias, but he listens and he emails us. So I get those emails. So last year he asked for suggestions along the Bourbon Trail for like restaurants or museums his wife might like. So I gave him suggestions. So 2 weeks ago he said, hey, McNew, last year my wife had a blast when she did these bourbon things with me. What can you just suggest for like Bardstown and Franklin? And I said, I like this restaurant. I like this place. He's like, okay, great. So I just love when people ask me for suggestions and say they had a good time afterwards. I'm like, let me be your trip planner. I would love to plan a whole trip for anybody. So I think there's
people that make careers out of that.
Oh, yeah. We got a new shop coming in the Fox Center, which I'm assuming Bourbon Land or
travel agency. So I think it's great when people say, hey, I know you're knowledgeable. What can you suggest to me? This is what I like. So I think that's great.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, guess what, gang? On that note, it's time to drink.
Hey.
What is everyone drinking? We're starting with McNew this time. McNew, what do you got?
I have some Jeffersons. Just basic Jeffersons.
Looks like a new bottle, though.
It is.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh.
That was impressive. That was very impressive. So I've got Wilderness Trail. This is their 6-year-old bourbon. 6-year-old bourbon from Wilderness Trail. That was not bad. That could win it in many shows. I think McNew got me, but I think normally that would have been in the mix, but not today. All right, Kathy, you're next.
I'm going to pull out my signed by Jason Brauner bottle of Buzzard Roost.
That's nice. Good call. Okay. Also very good. I'd say along the lines of what I did there, Kathy, though. Very good effort, not good enough to put you in the lead. All right. Phil, you're last but not least.
We'll make this pretty easy. This is a old tub, the ones they used to sell at the Jim Beam gift shop, a little different than the national brand that were out there. And in my haste to grab it, I found out it's the screw top. So,
okay. Screw top. Okay.
Oh, did you hear that? Hi.
Oh, that was incredible.
Look
that was
at
incredible. That was one of your better ones tonight. So, Phil, are you on board with the James B. Beam Distilling Company?
Sure. I mean, it's a new
day.
No,
it's Jim Beam to me. It will always be Jim Beam. I'm sad to hear that.
It's not that different. It's, you can see through it. It's just a little fancy take on it.
Big. Here's the big difference to me. Now, so like if I started
let me put my bottle down so I can fully appreciate everything.
If I started a corporation today and I called it the Steve Akeley Company, and then it got passed along to my heirs, and then it got sold out by some conglomerate out of Japan, and it's in someone else's hands, and then someone says, let's rename this the Lawrence Stephen Akeley Distillery. I would be pissed from the grave, because when I was alive, I wanted that company to be called the Steve Akeley Distilling Company. That's what it should be called. Jim Beam was called Jim Beam in Jim Beam's lifetime. He didn't be like, he could have called it James B. Beam Distilling Company if he wanted to. He could have. He didn't.
You make a fine point.
You do make a fine point, but it's not like it's not his name. It's just a little.
It is his name.
That's not what he wanted to be called. I'm a big fan of call people what they want to be called.
Exactly.
Two things. One, everyone's still going to call it Jim Beam. And two, it's a branding thing. Give it 13 years and it'll revert back to Jim Beam with a new one. It's fine.
You are probably right on that. But
yeah, I hope so. All right.
And three, the only people who it really impacts are the people in the Beam family and how they feel about it. So let's talk to Freddie Noe and Parker Beam. And
because the people getting paychecks, they're like, you know what, same money's still going in.
I felt 100%. I wish that was the case. They don't have any say in that at all, It's a
No,
control.
I didn't. No. I didn't say they had to say. I said it only matters how they feel. I didn't say it matters they had to say.
Okay, because I know that there's
I know.
two different. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not calling anybody out, but I know how people feel versus what they're told to feel. And, yeah, James B. Beam Distilling Company. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Jason Brauner. Is he getting the recognition that he deserves? Is this finally happening for him? I don't know. We'll talk about that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Bob. I'm in Ohio. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about, is Jason Brauner finally getting the recognition he deserves?
Is Jason Brauner? Yes. That's been, a little bit of a rub with Jason through the years. The fact that his bar is crowded at times, but as he goes through, the fact that it's, hey, I saw you on this list, and I'm here. I'm a tourist I'm from St. Louis. I'm from New York. I'm from Colorado. He's like, why isn't everyone in here from Louisville? So, but it feels like things started to make a little difference. It feels like he is being celebrated in Louisville now, which is big to him. And it does feel like he's being celebrated in the bourbon industry as well, because not only is he still have things going on with Bourbon's Bistro, and they just won Whiskey Magazine's Icons of Whiskey Award for their bar for second year in a row, which is very cool. But he's got good things going on with Buzzard's Roost. I think there's a lot of good buzz about that brand, and I think everything I see about it is positive. So it feels like maybe Mr. Brauner's finally having his moment. Don't you guys feel that way?
Definitely. We've talked about this before. I believe Bourbon's Bistro was one of the first restaurants in the country to exclusively dedicated to pairing a menu with bourbon and offering, not just a bar, but a restaurant matched with a top-notch bourbon bar. And in some ways, he was ahead of his time with that. And so by the time...
I think in every way, wasn't he ahead of his time?
Correct, yes. Yeah. In some ways, in every ways, he was ahead of his time. And by the time bourbon got there, I think some people viewed it as old hat. So kind of they're only now appreciating the value that a venue... And this isn't even talking about Buzzard's Roost, the venue that Bourbon's Bistro brings to all things culinary, all things hospitality, all things destination.
Yeah.
So I think he worked hard for a while where, like, if that space was vacant and if he moved in there 3 years ago and said, I'm launching this great idea of a bourbon themed restaurant, people would, oh, what a novel, great idea, right time, right place. But the fact he was so far ahead of the curve, I think sometimes almost did him a disservice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's something to be said for that.
So-
and to Kathy's point too, he was doing all this stuff before it was popular, and then social media finally catches up, and everybody's into bourbon. But by that time, there's more people doing it, and bourbon flights, the things that he started, bourbon flights. Nobody was doing that before him.
Right.
He started having bourbon dinners from year one. So when 92 or whenever he started, he's got bourbon dinners going on with master distillers talking. Nobody else was doing that at that time. He was the first. For many of the brands like Four Roses, he was the first one to do a barrel pick. He started asking for this stuff, saying, I want to buy a whole barrel. And everybody's like, so if you say this to people, they'll be like, oh, of course, everyone does that. Yeah, no, but it started somewhere, and it started with Jason. I think that's big. Yeah.
Yeah, so he wasn't on lists because they didn't make lists of who had the best barrel picks in town.
Right.
And when they started making lists, he was just a name on that list along with other people.
Yeah.
So I think Buzzard's Roost did it for him, right? Like that took off. Everybody loves Buzzard's Roost. They're going to do their tasting room. It looks beautiful. Their renditions on Whiskey Row. I think in retrospect, people are going to go back and be like, oh my God, I did not know about Bourbon's Bistro when I should have known about it.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a retrospect thing because he was already doing the things, like you guys said, he was already doing the things that nobody.
He started
else
the big before bourbon clubs were a thing. He started in Louisville.
Oh my God, why weren't we there sooner? So I think Buzzard's Roost gave him that boost that he needed, that he should have had anyway, and good for him. Like he deserves all the accolades, everything that he's getting. But I think people are going to look back and be like, shit, I should have known about this 10 years earlier. And they didn't. But I think he owes a lot to Buzzard's Roost. And good for him for making that a thing, doing what he did for that. That's what's going to give him the boost and everything else. And I think he could even make a Sleepeasy or an Airbnb. He could put an Airbnb on top of Bourbon's Bistro and people are going to pay $500 a night. Yeah. Sorry, Steve, to give away your bedroom, but
that was my place for many years. Yeah, thankfully, it wasn't $500 a night. Yeah,
so into that now because they know who he is. So yeah.
So I just don't want him to get lost in the crowd, though, because
I don't think he will. He's such a unique, cool person. I don't think he will.
He looks so good holding a bottle, especially of his own brand. So that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, good fashion. The guy gets good clothes. I want to know.
He does have good fashion. I'll give him that. He's got a look about him. Even though he stole my beard style, but that's fine. I'll let him do that. That's if he wants to do that and he feels good about himself, he can do that. So that's okay. But
is he also a colonel?
He is. Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah, he's 2 times
Maybe
over.
The beard is a colonel thing, then.
It could be. He got, like I said, he started the Big Bourbon Club in Louisville, and again, this idea in the early '90s, we need to get people together, and I've got this venue where we can meet at Bourbon's Bistro, and I know that there was a falling out, and they decided not to do it at his place, and I think there was some bad feelings at one point. And he ended up not being in the club anymore, but I know that in the last year they brought him back in the mix, recognized him for getting it going. And really, that's the start of bourbon clubs. And how important are things like bourbon clubs and groups?
Oh my gosh. So getting a group together, oh my God.
This guy started that.
Yeah.
How is he not in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame? He should be. Yeah. And I think the hall needs to recognize different segments, and they've done authors and things like that. That's good. They should. Those people are promoting the brand, but also if you think about how important bourbon bars are, there should be not only Jason but others. But for sure, he should be the first one. He should be the original.
Even have to call it bar owners. Call it entrepreneurs, because there's so many people working in bourbon that have
like Kelly Ramsey eventually needs to go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Phil Talks Whiskey needs to be in there.
Absolutely.
About 32 years.
Yeah, 32 more years. Okay.
When you say authors, is there more than one author in the Bourbon Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah, well Mike Veach is in there, Chuck Cowdery's in there.
Oh right, Chuck Cowdery.
There's more than that in there too.
There?
There's So there's probably 4 or 5 in there.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, so there's some in there. There's a bartender in there. So Joy Perini, she made the bourbon ball cocktail. She's in there. She unfortunately she's passed away now, but she's in there. So yeah. So how about that? So cool stuff.
Well, as Buzzard Roost grows, and Jason, it's a 3-person team right behind Buzzard Roost, but Jason's the face of the brand, so that's only going to grow and grow. It's a tremendous product. It's got a great name, and they're putting a location in on Whiskey Row. So
but he's always been amazing. I think Buzzard's Roost gave him more of a platform than he knew what to do with. So he should have always had that recognition. I think that escalated him. So
yes,
he deserves it all. Good for Jason.
He does. Now, part of our Bourbon Empire expansion is the fact that there's a facility that we like in our shopping plaza. And we've already talked to Jason. We said if this one comes up, because it's a big space, and then next to it has a nice outdoor area that could be outdoor dining. And we have always said that if we get that space, we want to open up Bourbon's Bistro West. And he said that can happen. Oh, yeah. Could you imagine that? Bourbon's Bistro West.
That would be so awesome.
The name needs work. When you say Bourbon's Bistro West, I don't think Missouri. I think California, Oregon, Washington State.
I don't care what you think. It's Bourbon's Bistro West. 100%. Yeah.
I don't know, but
I go.
How about Bourbon's Bistro the second pour? How about that?
No, I don't like that. I like the West because I tell you what, I go to Louisville a lot, and guess which way I drive? Every time I drive east. East.
Steve, hear me out. So if you're doing Bourbon's Bistro West, Stephen Fonte has his little Havana garden cigar area. You need a little Havana West.
Maybe that's the outdoor area. Maybe we don't have to. We can do whatever we want. So maybe that's yeah.
I think you need a cigar smoking area, garden, fire pit, then the restaurant, whatever. Yeah. Here for that.
So there you go. I think that's that we're all in agreement that Brauner is having a moment in the sun, which he very much deserves, and I hope it gets even better for him.
Sky's the limit for that gentleman. I agree.
Yeah. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people find us. Phil, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
I'm on the Twitter. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on the LinkedIn. I'm on the Facebook. I'm on the Vine. I'm on the Live Journal. At Derby City Phil is all of these things.
All right. Kathy.
I'm on Instagram, KK Cask Strength.
McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew, ABV.
For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We got a company website, though, abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Maybe you want to hear an old Jason Brauner interview. We got a bunch of them out there. So check us out, abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us. We'd love that. ABV Barrel Shop, the world's only single barrel shop. And you can find us at abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the Hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.